Welcome back to another live Wednesday training where every Wednesday I go live talking about all things health, wealth, mindset, marriage, relationships, fatherhood, all the things that can help you make you a stronger man, father, husband, brother, and a leader so that you can go out in your family and build more trust, build a stronger relationship with your wife and kids. And when you're a stronger leader there in your home, only then can you actually go out and influence others. Only then can you actually have impact in the world, in your local community, at your work, your church, wherever. And that is my goal, is helping men build unshakable marriages and deeper connection with their kids. So the last the last three trainings, we've been talking about how to win arguments, resolve conflicts with better ease, and essentially be better at conflict resolution and negotiation. So these tactics and strategies that I'm teaching you, it's not only going to help you be a better person in conversations, but also these are going to make you be a better leader in general, and you can apply these to all the strategies in life. Now, we're talking about specifically in this training, which is a 6-part series. Welcome to part 4 of 6. If you miss the other 3 trainings, I'll just give you a brief recap. When we were talking about, if you want to be a better leader or someone who is a better at conversations and winning arguments and negotiations, well, there's 3 other things you need to have so far that we've covered. Number 1 is you have to master your inner frame, because if you don't have a good, strong inner frame, your mental, emotional, you're managing your stress, then there's no way I can teach you all these other strategies and little nuances if you don't have that foundation piece. The second big one is negative emotions, and how if you let these negative emotions, anger, fear, jealousy, inferiority, affect your frame, imagine how when you show up in conversations with your wives or your spouses or whoever, you're clearly going to get wrecked. You're not going to be able to control the narrative because you have these inner dialogue that is just completely wrecking your frame. The third one we talked about is actually, that's a big training. It was a longer training, and we talked about actual ways to control the narrative. So if you feel like your frame is being attacked, or you're just losing an argument, how you can maintain control. And we talked about the big strategies that people will use typically, which is violence. They'll use silence, crying, or even just removing themselves completely from the conversation as a tactic to control the narrative. And we go over how to actually break those. So if you haven't seen those last videos, definitely go check those out. Today, we're going to talk about cultural frames and how these cultural frames shape the way you show up in arguments, negotiations, or just conversations or conflict resolution situations, and you need to get better at them. So this one's going to be a good one. It's going to be a lot shorter than that 20-minute one. We'll probably keep it to about 10 minutes, and I think you're going to really like it. Now, before we jump into things, if you don't know me, my name is Joel Evan. I'm a best-selling author. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a coach. I work with men and help them build those stronger relationships and deeper connection with their kids. And my journey was really a pain to purpose story myself. For over 10 years, I was just living an unconscious life, and I couldn't manage work-life balance. And for that reason, my marriage suffered, and I didn't think there was anything I could do. And so I hired multiple coaches, and I went down the rabbit hole. And over the last 10 years, I've probably spent over $100,000 on coaching, trying to learn from the best, until I finally figured it out. And I had this aha moment, this light bulb moment where everything shifted, and I was able to radically transform my fatherhood and marriage in just 3 months. Since then, which has been over like 2 years now, everything has changed in my family. It's been a complete 180. And I realized that more men need this kind of skill work. We need community, and we need to be in conversations with other strong men. And I think it's really being attacked more than ever now. And so that's what I am here as, I feel like, a vessel to help bridge that gap and help men raise up and avoid all this toxic masculinity and all these things that we're being shouted on from the rooftop that we're bad people. And so I think the more skills we have, and that's what I've learned, is that fatherhood and marriage are skills, but very few often do we actually work on these skills. We just trump it up and think, oh, I'll just wing it and hope that my marriage and hope that I found a soulmate. Well, where else do you do that in life? If you need a better job, you go out and you get a degree, or you hire a coach or a mentor to help you launch a business. If you want to get bigger muscles, you go to the gym. It's the same thing, guys, with fatherhood and marriage. And that's what I'm here and I'm trying to help with, and doing these small bite-sized trainings to level you up and get you to that next level so that you can be a better role model and then go out and influence others. That's the key. So let's dive into today's topic on cultural frames. Now, there's 4 big cultural frames. Well, there's actually several, but I think there's 4 big ones. And the first one is we got to talk about status, because status is what bends the rules of the game. The higher status individuals, think about it. They have no rules enforced on them. While lower status individuals, their lives are ruled by the whims of others. Think about it. Billionaires, they have limitless opportunities. Prisoners, they have zero autonomy, right? Think about people and how they treat the homeless. Even when a homeless person tries to speak to strangers directly, they're not even acknowledged. And this highlights the nuance of status. A lower status individual can scream and have no one hear them. A high status person whispers and it makes front page news. And that is why every time I work with men, we work on them first. We work on getting them right, their mindset, their health, even their wealth, because how can they actually influence their wife and family when they can't even manage themselves? How can you try to build a team that listens and follows you when you haven't even earned the respect to do so? So that's number one, status. Look and evaluate yourself. Are you a person that has earned the right and demands the right of status, where people can look up to you and they will follow you? They say, that is a good man. That is a strong man. He takes care of his body. He's consistent. He follows through. He does what he says. He's a man of integrity. Think about that. I have guys reach out to me all the time. They're like, oh, I want my wife to change and I want my kids to change. I used to think that way. Okay. They want everybody else to change, but they're just going to do very little work. They want to go bark orders at their kids and tell them, you got to follow through and do these chores. Well, are you doing these things? And if you're not, you need to do a quick audit and a quick evaluation. So number one is status. Number two in this big bucket of cultural frames is speech. The way you speak is one of the easiest ways to convey your status. And in America, think about it. A person with like a British accent, they need to do a lot less than a person with a Mexican accent to be perceived as intelligent or wealthy. Now, I know that's not fair to say so, but listen, this training is not concerned with what's fair, but really, how can you use unfairness to your advantage? And speech is a clear indicator of status because it's an honest signal. People can tell by your language and how you carry yourself and perceive you as someone who based on your speech, they can perceive you as someone who grew up a certain way. Your speech might dictate if you came from wealth or money. And now I'm not saying that you should start using a fake British accent, but just be cognizant of your own assumptions. Because the more positive people's assumptions are about your intelligence, the more susceptible they are to taking what you say as law. So practice speaking clearly, enunciating your words, and get rid of all these filler words like and like, and you want to start replacing them with just pauses. And this is going to give the illusion that you're thinking. And I think one of the great thought leaders who does this very well is Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman uses pauses all the time when he's speaking, and it adds a lot of depth and richness. And anytime you hear him speak and he pauses, you almost kind of lean in. You're like, oh, what's he going to say? That is really, think about that. That is powerful. He uses these pauses in a powerful way. And just the last thing I would say, when it comes to the British accent, I started watching this British cooking show for kids with my kids recently, and it was so funny to see British people in their accent. We were joking afterwards, like a British person can say something in this accent, and they can actually they say things in such a way that it makes the food even sound better based on their compliments to the chefs, right? And even the disparaging things they say, it doesn't sound so bad because it's used with a British accent. So just think about that. Again, I talk about this all the time. Perception is reality, whether you like it or not. So how people perceive you is going to matter as a leader and as someone who is influencing. And you are always influencing your team, number one, You're always influencing your team, your family first. You're the leader of that family. So make sure you're doing a good job. Number three, fashion. Now, this is something I know no one probably wants to talk about, like, oh, Joel, I need to dress better. But think about how you carry yourself, because this goes back years and years, and I think in our ancestry, humans, they have communicated that their power or their role in society is the way they're dressed. And that's been going on, again, since the dawn of man. So chieftains, right? They wore seashell necklaces. Kings wore crowns. Doctors wore white coats. Judges wear gowns. So what a person wears displays their role, their status, and even their duties in society. And so for men specifically, look at the men right now who have women around them. Because women's acceptance can be an honest signal that what the man is wearing is fashionable. And most guys are so clueless about stuff like this, they think it doesn't matter. But ask yourself, what does this outfit say about me? Because again, perception is reality. It's plain and simple. And in the book, Moral Tribes by Joshua Green, he mentions this study where it was found that human beings, they distinguish each other based on clothing before race. And the reason they hypothesize this is because prehistoric humans, they didn't encounter people of different races, but they did encounter people wearing different clothes, even within their own tribe. And so your ability to perceive these differences could save your life or could lead to an early death. That's number 3. Number 4, we got to talk about it, looks. Let's face it, good-looking people, they have to put a lot less effort into being accepted. Ugly people must put a lot. And the better looking you are, the more opportunities are going to find you. Your looks are just another social passport. Good-looking people, they have what is called the halo effect. And this is where people project positive attributes about you as a person. And I would tell you that probably one of the best ways to have an implicit frame as a man is to work out and be muscular. The more muscular you are, the more attractive you are, the more likely other people are going to fall under this spell in your conversation. And that's why good-looking people, they just tend to have stronger frames naturally because they interact with the expectation of getting what they want. So take some time and be healthy. Arnold Schwarzenegger said it best. Everything begins with the body and ends with the body. So taking care of yourself is part of the foundation of having a good frame. The more fit you are, the clearer your mind is, and you're going to have the better your mind, the better you dress, the better you look, the more accepting people are going to be of the frames that you're trying to control socially and the narratives that you're trying to sell. So those are the 4 big ones, guys. This is a shorter video, a shorter training. I hope that you like it. If you haven't seen the last 3 trainings, go back and watch it. Again, this is part 4 of a 6-part series that I'm going into of how to master negotiation, communication, and conflict resolution. And at the end of the day, you can win arguments and influence your spouse and your kids. This was another great Wednesday training. I hope you guys liked it. Stay tuned for some more trainings. And if you want to learn more about my community and some of the work we're doing with other men, feel free to reach out to me, shoot me a DM, or just comment below, and I will get you the details. Have an amazing Wednesday, guys. I'm out.